Hello and welcome to an episode of The Grafter Show. In this episode, I got an opportunity to sit down with Icky, also known as Muhammad Ikram. He is self-made entrepreneur, he's into fitness, he's very passionate about achieving his goals, and really interestingly, he's actually publicly set out his own goals in order to be accountable and help achieve them himself. We managed to talk about the origins of his own companies and where he wants to take them in the future. And of course, be sure to follow Icky on Icky Bra on all of the social media channels on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And if you are interested in any of his clothing, be sure to go over to nogamesclothing.com. So without further ado, here's the episode. Welcome to an episode of The Grafter Show. I'm here today in Manchester, all the way from London actually. I'm joined here by Icky. Icky, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Icky. Full name is Muhammad Ikram actually. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Manchester. You guys might know me on Instagram as Icky Bra, and I run two businesses alone. I run Icky Fitness and No Games Clothing, which is my clothing line.
Okay, and I guess you first started off in fitness as well, prior to running the companies. How did that happen?
So I started off just sharing my posts on social media. I was really enthusiastic about the gym. Once you start getting into something, you become overly passionate and obsessed with it. Because I was so obsessed, I started to share everything I did on social media. So I used to post photos of my progress and talk about training all the time, which actually motivated other people to get up and train. So that's how I developed my social media.
You then decided to take that one step further. So it's always been a passion for you. And then I guess you wanted to decide to make it into a business and technically, I guess, your career.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't anything that originally I started off thinking, hey, I want to make money off this. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, I was passionate about it. And eventually people started asking me for diet and training programs. The power of social media is amazing, honestly, because if I didn't have social media, I wouldn't be in the position where I'm at right now. I would have went the traditional route, which was go to university, get a degree, go get a job, or just in general, go get a job. Because so many people requested for diet and training programs, at first I was just like, you know what, I'll just make it for them because it will help them out. There was a demand for it, and people kept coming to me for it because they felt like I was a credible person. And that made me want to go ahead and become qualified as a personal trainer to help people further in person, and not only online, but in person.
Did you face any challenges along the way to actually achieving this goal of yours to actually help other people? Did you overcome any of those types of obstacles?
Didn't really have that many obstacles. It's more so because I'm self-employed, maximizing my potential and efficiency. That's the most important thing. Personally, I feel like my marketing could improve, my sales techniques and stuff like that. And it's all about learning. So that's why I like to study a lot of books and just study from mentors so they can teach me how to be more efficient when I'm self-employed. Because at the end of the day, other people can zombie their way through a month of work and still get paid the same amount. Whereas me, I can't zombie away for a month and expect to make the same amount. I'm either making zero or I'm making however much I want to make. Yeah. That's what happens when you're self-employed. You have a drive to hit a target every month. And if you choose to sit there and play games or relax, you ain't going to hit that target.
I think you'll see like loads of people on social media channels that are trying to do similar stuff, and there are probably a lot of people who might be listening and they're at a younger stage or they're earlier in their lives and they're thinking, what's the first step I can take? Like whether it's, you know, even in fitness or whether even it's something else. Would you give any advice for those types of people out there who they don't know where to start?
First thing I suggest is do what you're passionate on. So if you see something that just makes money but you're not passionate on it, don't invest your time into it, because when it gets down to the hard days, you're not going to be able to do what other people do. Secondly, find out who your target audience is and accommodate to them, because then they're going to be giving you a return, whether it be monetized or just in general giving you attention. So you want to find out who your target audience is and work with it. Just be consistent. If you try to put out a product once, for example, if I put out a YouTube video, which I have done in the past, where I put it out and I wouldn't make another video for 3 months, 4 months, but people love my videos. I could have so much potential on the YouTube scene, but I'm just not consistent enough. We all have so much potential to grow and develop ourselves, but we're just not consistent with what we do. So to anyone out there who wants to develop themselves and set up a career from social media or just be their own boss and be self-employed, be consistent at what you do and be passionate as well.
Yeah, great advice. I think I've seen a lot of people who have tried to do stuff, whether it's in similar field as mine, so I work in software development, and I've seen a lot of people who generally do have passion for it and they absolutely turn out to be amazing. They love what they're doing. They achieve great stuff. But on the flip side, I've also seen people who they're kind of stalling through it. And it's kind of what you said earlier. They're kind of zombieing their way through it, going from month to month, payslip to payslip, and you can really see the impact it has on their lives. That they're clearly unhappy.
I guess we go through different phases. Sometimes we have a good month, sometimes we have a bad month. What I've learned to do now is just to embrace the bad months and come to a realization that I'm the creator of my own reality. So if I want to make more money this month, it's down to me, nobody else. I need to start executing on more ideas. I need to start putting in more time. I just need to do something. Because what a lot of people do is they see the same response every single time and they get demotivated. It's like a cycle, like a chain. And they're always going to get the same response every single time. What some people need to experiment with is breaking that chain. Because if it's not working for you right now, if your business is not going where it needs to be, or you're not getting the right response on social media, or you're not developing yourself enough, you just need to break that chain. You need to do something out of the ordinary. You need to set yourself up in a way where you know you're not going to get the same response because you've done it before and you got that specific response. If you're not happy with it, do something different and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Don't be disheartened if the result isn't what you want. Just keep at it. Consistency is what's always going to get you through things.
Have you done anything yourself when you've maybe gone through like a bad month and then maybe you've suddenly thought, actually, this is really hard. I don't know what to do next. What do I do? What do you do in that type of situation?
Yeah, I've been through a lot of bad months, especially when I'm self-employed. Got this house to pay the bills for. That's stressing me out. Got my car. My car's very expensive. I do like to enjoy myself. I'm not one of them types who goes out. I'm not really an outgoing person otherwise, unless it's for food. I mean, I love my food. Apart from that, I'm not really into designer. So, I don't spend that much money, but if it's cars, I love cars, bro. My car takes a lot of money. My lifestyle, just in general, expenses, business expenses takes a lot of money. I've set this up for myself and I've seen that in the bad months, it does get very difficult to make things work. Because if I don't hit my targets, how am I going to pay for everything that I need to pay for? You just need to kind of look to break that chain again. If you feel like it's not working this month, do something out of the ordinary. I'd say the term dance in the rain is very important. You got to learn to dance in the rain. You got to learn to go through the bad months and embrace it. It builds character in you. There's been so many times when I've been through a bad month and I'd be so disheartened and demotivated. I feel like everything in my life is going to failure. I think to myself, I can't pay for this, I can't do that, I can't do this. I feel like I don't even want to go out anymore. I don't even want to eat. I don't even want to go boxing because I'm trying to be an amateur boxer. I don't want to do anything because I feel like everything's going downhill because my businesses are going downhill. And what you need to learn is, no, it's not the end of the world. You need to meditate. I highly suggest meditation. Looking for mentors. Mentors will clearly explain to you that, no, you just need to do this and that, and you'll break that cycle. But because we're so invested in that certain situation, we don't see the answer. We don't see the light. All we see is this darkness that, we're failing, we're losing. It's not like that. You just need to keep your head up, embrace the tough months and keep pushing.
Yeah, I guess you need to sometimes step back and actually think, it's not just about this. I need to look at the bigger picture.
See the bigger picture is very important.
You've talked a little bit about the fitness side of things as well. You obviously have another company, No Games, as well, doing clothing stuff over there. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about the company itself?
Yeah, so No Games was a company that I started around September time. We've only been open for a few months now. Things are going slow, I will say, that I have made some mistakes at the very beginning, but it's just a matter of time. I believe there's so much potential in the company and I believe in its value. I started off as a motivational thing that I used to say to myself when I was training. I used to say, no games, because I was all about training hard and pushing myself to the limit. And I was always so dedicated and focused to my craft, so I always used to say no games. And people liked it on social media, so what they did was they just kept reposting it. They liked the whole term, no games. When I was thinking about launching a clothing line, I wanted to embody my whole vision into that clothing line. I was initially going to call the clothing line after myself, just Icky Fitness or something like that. But then I really wanted to expand. So people who don't know me, they don't need to buy my clothes. It would be for anyone who believes in dedicating themselves to their craft. They could wear the shirt, they could represent it. It's also a fashionable thing to wear as well. So I want to move more into the fashion side of things so it accommodates to a different audience, but at the same time still pushes the message of working hard for your craft.
What actually made you decide to start a clothing company in the first place?
Initially, it was just for fitness. I thought to myself, I want people to also push this message, and I believe in a certain thing, and if people wear my clothes, they'll also believe in the same thing. And if we all work together, we can create something special. And I was going to call it after my name, but No Games was just the most amazing name I could ever think of. I remember I was on the bus, and this is exactly how I came up with the name. over a year ago, I was on the bus and I was thinking to myself, geez, I want to make this clothing line, but I need to make sure it bangs. I need to make sure that the name of it is just, it just means something to everyone. I want to sound original. I want it to be specific to me. Something in my mind said No Games. It's probably because I felt like giving up. Probably because I felt like, oh, shit, man, I can't figure out a name. And then I was trying to hype myself up again. I can do this. I said No Games. And I was like, oh, shit, there we go. That's the name of the company. Because I felt like I couldn't find a name for it. I was like, oh, this is not going to do well. It's not right. The people won't like it. This, that. Oh, it's a failure. And then I had to hype myself back up and be like, you know what? I can do this. I can set something up. I have the potential to achieve great things in life. No Games mentality.
Yeah.
Right there, I just thought that's the name of the brand.
And that's kind of what you've carried on through, whether it's been fitness stuff, business stuff, even your boxing journey now as well, right?
Boxing, people have started very young. People have started boxing when they were 8 years old. I'm starting at 21 years old. Very behind in the game. But I believe that consistency, disciplining myself to my craft, I'm always going to come out on top. I have confidence in my ability, but it's just a matter of how much am I going to dedicate myself to this craft, because there's people who've dedicated so much more time. We'll see what happens with boxing. I honestly believe that I can do great things in the boxing sport, but everything comes in good time. So inshallah, we'll see what happens. You might just hear me in 5 years' time going pro. Let's say 4 years' time I want to go pro, and 8 years' time I want to actually fight for a title.
Awesome. So hopefully I can get you back on in 4 years' time when you're going pro.
4 years, when I go pro, I will be back on the Grafter Show in 4 years. And then in 8 years, when I fight for a title, we shall be back.
Awesome. That's great. Obviously, it sounds like you got loads of stuff going. So Icky Fitness is still running. No Games is still kind of going on as well. And then you're doing boxing on top of that. So, you must be quite stretched for time. You've got to have a routine in place, I guess, to get all of this stuff done. Do you want to talk us through a little bit about your daily routine? Like, how do you actually manage to get so much of this stuff done?
So what you need to realize also when it comes to living a life and trying to be so focused on your goals at the same time is that your life is not work. Your life is not relationship. Your life is not friends. Your life is not going out. Your life is not eating. This is all just aspects of life. And what I realized is the only times I'd ever get depressed is if my life was work. That's all it was. If I thought to myself, my life revolves around my work, if my work would go wrong, my life would be over. It's about balance. Balance is how I'm going to stay through and keep through all the tough months and the good months. Daily routines just depends. Literally one day I wake up and I'm going to execute on all my ideas. And the other day I'm just going to write my ideas, but I just don't feel like doing any of them. Now I know that you have to discipline yourself as time goes on. Right now I'm not in any crucial position to really do insane things. But right now I'm just taking each day as it comes, studying more so from my mentors, from the books, just so I can gain more knowledge. And when it's time to drop these power moves and do all the crazy things that I need to do to push my business, push my social media, push my public figure status to the top, that time will come. But right now I'm just taking each day as it comes.
Do you have any things that you will definitely do, regardless kind of whether you're in this kind of more research phase, I guess, versus when you might have to be in kind of like the all-out stage? For example, would you always wake up in the morning at a certain time and you've got like a morning routine that you would always do regardless of whatever else is going on?
I guess when it's time to really start to push on my goals, 5 a.m. starts will be a must. 5 a.m. starts. Right now I'm just taking each day as it comes, writing down and studying from the game, studying from my mentors, just taking each day as it comes. So I'm not really on the 5 a.m. starts, but when it's time to pull the trigger on everything, on all my ambitions and goals, and I've studied enough and I know that I can smash it, and I believe truly 100% in my potential, that I'm worth something amazing, 5 a.m. starts will be the one. 5 a.m. starts, training every day, working on my business, having like a set time, maybe even. So what I like to do is on Monday I like to work on No Games, Tuesday I like to work on Icky Fitness, Wednesday I like to work on No Games. You know what I mean? I alternate them because I like to dedicate a whole day just to one business. Otherwise, if I was to do it by time, I wouldn't be able to be efficient. I know myself, and I know that if I'm going to dedicate myself into something, it takes at least an hour for me to click. And once I click, I go into deep work. Deep work, there's a study on deep work. You might see it online. It's when you create a state of flow. So you're just in the zone where you're just working and ideas are popping. They're flying from everywhere. Just bam, 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 bam. And you're unstoppable because you built momentum in that business. Yeah. So when you're writing down these ideas, you're just flying through. Do you know what I mean? When I'm doing these diet plans, it might take me an hour to hit in, and then boom, I'm just flying through these diet plans. It isn't just like open it up, do it like from the get-go. It takes a bit of time, but once I get into deep work zone, I'm unstoppable.
My background was a bit in software development that I mentioned to you earlier as well. This is like a concept that's really well known among software developers, that they want to get into the flow and then they don't want to be disturbed. So quite often you might walk into an office where you have some developers, they'll have some big headphones on and everything, and they'll just be staring at their monitor. They basically just do not want to be disturbed because they're really in the thick of it. And that's a concept that I've known about for ages, but it's quite interesting that you're basically applying that concept to your work and your businesses as well, to make sure that you're really in there, fully able to concentrate, get things clicking.
I guess it would be faster to get into deep work if you meditated a lot, because what happens is your mind's so distracted by so many different things, whether it be on your phone, social media, just your day-to-day tasks, bills, stresses, relationships, anything. It's always going to play a part in your head. So if you can meditate, you can kind of relax your mind and stop the thoughts from flying everywhere. I see meditation as one of the best ways to focus, because then you can specifically choose when you want to invest your 100% time into something. Your mind is just all over the place all the time. There's so many things that catch us. And what a lot of people fall in the habit of doing is looking for another answer, whether it be a diet plan. I tell someone, here's your diet plan, follow this. They'll always be looking for another answer. I'm like, no, this is the diet. This is what you need to do. This is the answer. But if they can't follow it, they look for another answer. There is so many other ways to go about it, but you just stick to what I say and the results will be there. And what a lot of people do is they always look for something new, because they're not satisfied enough. They need that satisfaction. They need to 100% believe that it's going to work. And if they don't see any changes, they're going to feel disheartened.
Yeah.
What you understand is perfection equals paralysis. So when you're trying to be a perfectionist, when you're trying to get it right the first time, that's what's going to stop you from doing it entirely. If you came onto this and you had your own specific way and you felt like there's no way I can do any podcasts without doing it my specific way, the perfect way, with all the, like you might look at these top podcast shows and do it like them, but you have to do that the first time, you're not going to get anywhere. It takes a long time to get to that level. So what you just need to do is get the ball rolling. Just flow with the punches, keep fly them out, and eventually you'll master your craft.
Yeah, definitely. So I like how you touched on meditation there as well, because for me that's really helped me as well, focus my mind. And quite often when I've been in challenging situations as well, I often meditate, and that really helps me as well. Do you have like a set routine in terms of, do you meditate on a daily basis, or is it more of an ad hoc thing that you would do?
It's one of the things that I need to do. It's not one of the things that I do currently very often. My mentor does a lot of meditation, so he teaches me meditation, and he also teaches me a lot about spirituality and how to be more conscious. Consciousness is very important. I believe that when you're more conscious of your surroundings, when you're more conscious of your decisions and your actions, you become a stronger person. Because what you got to realize is it's not the end of the world if your business fails. It's not the end of the world if your house gets taken away from you or your car gets taken away from you. It's not. Consciousness, you'll realize that you're still breathing. You're still alive. If you had £1 million in your bank and someone took away your £1 million, you might have lost your mind. But really, consciousness reminds you that you can make it all back again. Life has not ended. It's only when people's egos and values are in the wrong places, that's when they start to stress over these petty things. I've done this mistake a lot when I've had my bad months. I've always thought to myself, I'm going to fail, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Nothing well's going my way. And really, if I increase my level of consciousness, I realize that it's not the end of the world. Yeah. I'm grateful for where I am, and I know where I will be in the future.
And then I've seen on your Instagram as well that you actually read your list of things that you're grateful for on a daily basis as well.
Yeah.
How do you find that sets your mindset for the day?
Just gets me reset. My values might be in the wrong place. For example, if a whole week I've just invested myself and I'm making so much money and I'm speaking to certain people, my values might slightly shift. And then I just read that and it reminds me where I came from and where I want to go in the future. So it humbles me. I need to be humbled at all times because that's how I'm going to get to the top. I know that I have potential, but to walk around and say I'm better than everyone, or to walk around and say I already have what it takes, I don't. I know that I'm conscious. I know that I have potential to grow and develop and become someone huge one day, but at this current moment in time, I just need to study and learn from my mentors, and we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see. But it's all about execution, because I can know everything. One day I can learn all the knowledge from my mentors and all the books, but nothing means anything if you haven't executed on it. Sometimes the smart guy isn't going to get as far as the dumb guy, because the dumb guy is more bold. So he's just going to do things and he's going to get more attention, whereas the smart guy is going to think about everything, and he ends up not doing anything. So sometimes it's better to be bold. So you need to have a mix, smart and bold. That way you can make more better decisions.
I guess to help you as well, you just showed me just before we actually sat down your list of goals, and you've actually set them out for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Do you wanted to talk us through why you've done that and how you find that helps you?
Puts pressure on me. Tells me where I'm going, sorry. If I was to go to the gym and just start training, but I had no specific goal, I'd kind of be like, where am I going with this? I need to focus myself one step at a time. So if tomorrow's goal is to make 100,000, the next day's goal is to make 1 million, I need to narrow it down. I need to simplify these goals into smaller goals. And I work one step at a time. And before you know it, people will see the end result and they'll be like, whoa, he's got the Lamborghini, he's got the jet, he's got the platinum, he's got the mansion. How's he got all this? It's just simplifying all your goals one step at a time. And everything will come in good time, like I said, but you just really need to keep yourself conscious.
That's something that I've noticed a lot of people, they often have these big goals and they think that it's going to just happen like that. They think that they can just do 1 or 2 things and suddenly they're going to get there, but they haven't really thought about breaking it down. What's that going to look like on a monthly, weekly, daily basis?
Yeah. 2 very important books I like to recommend right now. Ego is the Enemy and The Compound Effect. Now, when people say overnight success, I don't believe in no overnight success. I believe when you want to become someone great, it's the compound effect. It's the fact that you do the same things again and again, whether they're noticed or not, regardless. Eventually, you will develop yourself and one day you'll blow up. But people don't see how many years and years of consistency and practice you had to put in to get to the level you're at. So I'm just studying the game. I'm just studying. Right now, I feel like I'm in the compound effect. I feel like every single day I'm learning something new. Every single day I'm doing something. I haven't blown up yet. I'm not someone who's special at all. And even when I do blow up, I feel like I'm still not someone special. But it's just the fact that it will come in good time. And when it does, people might say, oh, all of a sudden he's gone, you know what I mean? He's developed himself so fast. When really they haven't seen all these years of me just practicing, studying, learning, marketing, sales, all this stuff. Because what I want to do is I want to become a champion, world champion boxer. I want to have several businesses, residual income. I want to be a millionaire before I turn 27. So this is like further down the line, and it's great to have all these goals. And people, when they finally see them, they're like, whoa, he's done it so fast when I haven't. I've just been studying every single day, and eventually it will blow up. Eventually. And also what I said, goal is to be a millionaire before 27. The book Ego is the Enemy also reminds you that your ego is going to make you feel like you're a millionaire today. I'm 21 years old, and if I had the ego, I would tell myself, oh, if I'm going to be a millionaire by 27, I might as well start acting like it right now. Don't say the things that you want to do, just actually do them. And when you actually got them, then you've won. I like to set these goals and I like to share them just so people can hold me accountable, and I can hold myself accountable. And also I know where I'm going. But to act like I've already achieved them before I actually have, it would be silly. I'd hold myself back from my true potential. I just humble myself every single day, and that's how I get the goals and do the things that I want to do in life.
Do you think you might come across like a moment in time where you think, actually, maybe that goal, I want to change that now based on whatever might be happening? Or do you think that's something that now you've set for yourself, that's it, 100% full steam ahead, and that's all you want to do now?
I guess your values change as time goes on. As you grow and develop as a person, you invest yourself into different things. Like on one of my goals for 2021, I think, on my website, it says that I want to buy my dream car, the RS5. By that age, I might not even want to buy a car. By that age, I might want to invest into my businesses. And by that age, I might want to buy like a little crappy car that can save me a lot of time, you know what I mean, on fuel and insurance and stuff. Your values change as you develop. And because I'm young, I'm more into the materialism. Not really into the clothes and stuff. I like to look stylish, but I do like my cars. And right now, I do value the RS5. But maybe when I grow up and I mature a bit and I start to become more focused on my businesses, I realize that the RS5 is nice, but it's not something that I really want. I'd sacrifice the RS5 for more longevity in my businesses.
Yeah.
So just develops. And to be honest, you just need to you need to write down your goals. I highly suggest that to everyone. Once you write them down, that's the first step. Second step is believing you can achieve it. The third step is actually doing it without putting yourself in a position like you've actually done it.
Yeah.
Like I said, ego is the enemy. You write down, I'm going to make $1 million before 27. That's great. Now you're starting to work towards it. That's great. But don't act like you're a millionaire before you've actually done it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And even when you are a millionaire, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Be genuine to who you are. I am always going to be genuine because I believe that that's what makes me special. If I try to be someone I'm not, if I move to America and I all of a sudden change my accent and be someone I'm not, no, I'm Ikram, Icky. I am the person you see today, and in the future you'll still see the same person because that's what makes me special.
Yeah.
Because of my uniqueness.
Yeah, and I guess you touched on it's okay, the fact that you might want to change one of your goals depending on how your life is progressing. And I think that some people get caught up in, that's my goal. If I'm not going to do it, that means I'm a failure. But that might not be the case. It might be things have changed, circumstances have changed. Therefore, you have to readjust your goals and you have to realign yourself to that. And this is something that I guess you're saying as well, that if something happens in your life and you get to a point in time where that goal doesn't make sense for you anymore, it's fine for you to actually change that and go for something else, right?
Yeah, but don't ever be disheartened and really be aggressive when it comes to your goals as well. Don't hold back. Sometimes when you take the humble approach, what people tend to do is they tend to also take that with everything. You tend to be soft with everything. Mm-hmm. There's times to be humble and there's times to be savage. I believe that when it comes to your goals, be an absolute savage. Be an absolute savage. Dominate in every way you can when it comes to it.
Yeah, and I love how you've put your goals on your website, so it's not only on a notebook for yourself to read, it's actually out there in public. So like you said, other people can also hold you accountable.
Yeah, people can see it. People can see it. People are like, hey, you haven't hit 100,000 followers this year. You're clearly lying and stuff. You know what I mean? To be honest, it isn't about what other people's opinions are, because at the end of the day, we all have our own opinions. People's opinions change. Yeah. And people's opinions really just tell me a lot about who they are as a person. So it doesn't really affect me. It just gives me more information about them. And regardless, I'm just going to focus on myself and what I can do, my ability. And I shouldn't focus on other people. But it's good to have them there. So other people can see where I'm going. And maybe they can write their goals down as well. Because at the end of the day, not only am I succeeding for myself, I'm succeeding for every single follower that I have. Everyone who follows me on social media will see my progress and see how I develop in the future. And then they will be motivated to develop themselves. Because then they'll see Icky and be like, oh, he smashed it, he's done this, he's done that. And then they're going to be more motivated, because it's not just about myself. It's about everyone who sees me on the come up is eventually also going to have their own come up.
Yeah, definitely. Where can people find you if they want to watch your YouTube or Instagram? I know what your channels are. I already follow you, but if people listening don't know who you are, where can they find you?
Yeah, everything's on Ikybrah. So IKYBRAH. That's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all these social medias. They're all the same.
And then you mentioned quite a few different resources. You mentioned like books and stuff like that. For someone who's maybe like just getting started out, like either they're trying to start a business or trying to achieve some sort of goal and get motivated, what are some of the best resources that you find that you would highly recommend to other people?
For business or philosophy?
Let's actually start with philosophy, because I think a lot of people need to get into that mindset before they can actually go further.
Yeah. Philosophy-wise, I'd suggest The Art of War, 48 Laws of Power, just so you can understand a lot about power dynamics and how people use them in different social situations, just so you can be better at communicating and having better social skills. Mastery is a great book. Ego is the Enemy, and the Compound Effect is for business. But those are some of my favorite books when it comes to mentality.
Awesome. Any other resources, or you think that those books are probably
those books are
a good
perfect
place to start?
You start off with them. You apply their laws and their values and stuff like that. What you've learned from those books, and honestly, you can do really well.
Awesome. And then what about for business? Whether it's books or the resources?
The Way of the Wolf is good. Pitch Anything. For mentality, I forgot. Chimp Paradox is a very good book. Chimp Paradox is about the chimp, the human, and the computer. 3 different entities. Very good book. I read that when I was in university. Also dropped out. That was when I was dropping out, and I was thinking to myself, how am I going to make everything work? Whilst I was dropping out, this is what really helped me, that Chin Paradox book. So, but for business, The Way of the Wolf is a very good book. Compound Effect is a very good book. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I'm going to have to get back to you.
No, that's all right. I think that's probably a really good place anyway for people to start off with. What do you think is immediately next for you? So obviously you've got your goals there, but I guess that's kind of like your next few years. But what's immediately next for you?
Immediately, as in this year?
Yeah, this year. What are you gonna try and accomplish?
Focus for this year is to develop more YouTube videos, improve my editing, create a bigger platform on YouTube, and more awareness. Really just want to develop myself more on YouTube so people can have a better connection with me. These podcasts is where I can actually talk and give more of my personality out to people. But in my YouTube videos, I just want to keep them purely for entertainment. I don't really want to push too much mindset. And I know people will want to hear the mindset part, which I feel like there is a audience that wants that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to keep them mindset videos probably about 6 minutes long. But there's so much when it comes to mindset. You just want to keep talking because you feel like it can really help people. But people don't really engage on videos these days for that long. So I want to make sure everything's short and sweet. Maybe 5 minutes. But I want to develop more of a presence on YouTube. I also want to fight in the amateurs for boxing at the end of the year. That's a big goal of mine because, like the Compound Effect, I just need to keep training. And once I start fighting, then it'll just be fight. But right now I need to get the training down. So there's so much more when it comes to training. I feel like I have so much more to learn, but I'll just keep fighting. Win or lose, I just need as much experience in the amateurs as possible. Not really focused on winning every fight. I'm just more focused on just fighting. Just fight. And eventually I'll rack up about 50, 60 fights and I might go pro after that, or I might go for 80 fights, but I think 80 fights would be a bit of a stretch. We'll see what happens. I want to develop No Games clothing a lot more, so I want to bring out the hoodies this year. I know a lot of people waiting on the hoodies, and I want to switch it to more pre-order at the moment, so I can pre-order all the hoodies rather than just sell them off the bat. We'll see what happens. I'll test out different sales techniques and business strategies, and I'll see what works, see what doesn't. There's only one way to find out, because all these books are going to teach me so much, but I need to see how I get a response from it. I need to put on my lab coat and experiment with all these different techniques. Icky Fitness, I really want to develop that to be a bigger platform for people, because I really want to get people a lot of better results. So when I've set up my new app, people are going to see so much better results from it, because you are now adhering to the plan more closely, because it notifies you every morning that you need to work out this, you need to do that. You get workout videos, so it really helps the girls. There's a lot of girls who buy my diet and training plans, and it really helps them out, because then now they can work out at home. I have fitness plans for girls who can work out at home, guys who can work out at home, weight gaining plans for people who want to bulk up, fat loss plans. I have everything now, and also 30-day extreme fat loss plans. So I'm just trying to maximize everything, but not really just doing anything crazy at the moment. Trying to get a bit more popular on social media, on YouTube, but nothing too crazy yet. Maybe next year I'll start to just amplify everything, just put it in a turbo and just go boom. Maybe next year. But I feel like I still have so much more studying to do. But I don't want to be to the point where I have so much knowledge and I don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just testing things. I'm just literally going with the flow at the moment. And eventually, when it's time, I'm going to go savage. And I'm just going to pull my trigger on everything that I want to do.
Awesome. So it sounds like it's going to be a very busy year, but then that's how you want to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Is there anything you want to close with? Any final remarks or comments or anything?
Just stay focused. It's the basics. People always overlook the basics. Stay focused, dedicate yourself, be passionate. Also, just be more conscious. Consciousness is very important. Philosophy is very important. Mentality is one of the biggest things that I can give to people, because you can turn a beggar. You can turn a beggar into a king just through mentality. You can change anyone to someone great just with mentality. We all have the same potential. We're all human beings at the end of the day. We have the same hands, the same feet. We're all the same people. We just have different identities. At the end of the day, you choose to be who you are because you wear your identity. I am Ikram, Icky, my own identity. We're all the same people at the end of the day, but it's our mentality that creates and makes us someone special. So if I can give more mentality and advice, mental jewels to people, their identity can become so much more stronger. Because at the end of the day, we all have the same potential. Everyone has potential. It's just about the mentality. And if we apply that to each and every person's identity, they can become great people. So
that's an awesome message to finish on there. Thank you so much for your time, Mickey. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you to come down. Honestly, it was good podcast. So
yeah, it's been a great, very enlightening for myself as well. I think there's quite a few books there that I need to go away and read as well.
They can really help you. If you don't have time for the books, just watch the YouTube summaries on YouTube, because there'll always be like book summaries on YouTube. You can always watch them. And I'm going to be sharing this to all my followers on YouTube, on Instagram, on Snapchat. So if you guys are watching from any of them platforms, be sure to drop me a message and let me know what you thought of the podcast. I don't usually do podcasts, but I like to do more. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have been watching this from my social media, drop me a message and let me know what you thought.
Awesome. So make sure you give Icky a follow on all of the social media channels.
Yeah, and I'll tag The Grafter Show also in my bio, so you guys can definitely go follow him as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That was perfect. Thank you.